Muting up. What is going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. I feel like it's been like a month since we've been on. I don't know about anybody else, but to me, it just seems like a long time. Liv, what do you think? Yes? No? Maybe?
No, I'm used to the weekends, but I'll tell you, last week when I took Wednesday and Thursday off, that was interesting.
Yeah, you did slack, so that's a good point. I appreciate you bringing it up. Amy, how about you? How was your weekend?
It was very busy, just very busy. Good, like work is like already back into full swing. We usually get another week or two, but we are already back at it.
Oh, that's good. Hopefully there's some inventory available so you can make some buku real estate dollar. That'll make you holla. Want to say happy birthday to Santana McConnell's little boy. He's 21 years old.
Aww.
Very sweet. Happy birthday, Santana's little boy. 21 years old. The gleam in your father's eye, the pride of thy mother, the prodigal son. Happy birthday. We have another birthday coming up on Thursday, I believe.
Yes.
Gotta do that. Amy, are you going to the inauguration? What have you decided?
So, I don't think I feel comfortable going. I did want to check with one more friend of mine who is also active into one of the communities that gets insider information a lot of times. So I wanted to check with them, but I haven't yet. So I'm leaning towards no. I just don't feel safe enough. I can't die. So like really I just can't die.
Right. 10 seconds. We'll talk about it when we get back. Michael McConnell. Happy birthday, buddy. We'll see you in 3 minutes. Michael McConnell, didn't he sing like, yeah, I'm gonna be there?
No.
Oh, that was Michael McDonald.
Yes.
Oh. Shine sweet freedom, shine right on, or something like that. Dude, I am so excited to be back tonight. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was missing it this weekend. I don't know why. I feel rejuvenated. I don't know what it is. What is it, Liv? I mean, it's like there are times like at the end of the year I was just like, oh gosh, Don't Unfriend Me show, not again. And like now I am just rejuvenated. I'm like a giddy schoolgirl.
I have no idea.
Okay, maybe it's the drugs.
Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, start offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up on the facts be true. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dad.
can you wear?
Real important message here. If you haven't checked it out yet, you absolutely have to. There is this podcast that I'm sure some of you have seen me on. It's phenomenal. It's called The Dumb Show or
Truth.
The Don't Unfriend Me Show. You can
Based.
find them on all social media at The Dumb Show or visit
Tell it.
thedumbshow.com. Listen to their podcast. Absolutely perfect with host Matthew Spear.
Preach it, Ryan.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Hey, Mr. Lynch, long-time watcher and listener of The Dumb Show. I just got to say you are one of my favorite additions to the show. I like your intellect and what you bring to the show. You are a great fit. And don't think for a second you don't bring something to the table. I have my fair share of personal struggles in different aspects, so I relate to you a lot in that regard. You seem really down to earth and the type of friend I would have over to chill and a few drinks and just talk about what's ever on our minds. Not really sure, I guess, why I felt the need to say all that, but I just want to say thank you for what you contribute to the show. And if there was a Mike's Mob or a Lynch Mob, maybe, I'd totally be a member. Keep it up. You're doing great. And
Let's hope this is like a mid to late 20-something really cute girl
Mike,
that
I
we
was
can
gonna
hook him up
say,
with.
Yeah.
Mike, it doesn't count when you send yourself shit like that. You
Right.
got to wait for someone to actually send it. I mean, it's cute. AI is amazing. I'm so glad you embrace it. No, listen, Mike is a good kid, and we brought him on because he
Yeah.
is a good kid. And he brings a youthful element because Amy's been dragging us down with the whole age thing. So
Man, you're so
True.
old, Amy.
we needed to bring in the.
It's true.
I mean, literally,
Well, according to
I
my
get it.
kids, I'm 87, so
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it's
what they
my
tell me.
kids, yeah, they don't understand that I was born in the 1900s. They're like, oh, like when they had covered wagons. It's
right
like,
when the
oh,
wheel was square. When the wheel was square, yeah, I get it. So the
Like,
funny thing is, I put that through an AI generator. First of all, it's most assuredly a guy. I just want Mike to know. Second, no, it's cute. It's very nice.
I hope it's a girl.
I do too. Like somebody besides my wife would be nice because, but yeah, he's a good kid. He deserves to be on the show as often. He needs to get a new camera, but we'll work on that. So we got a lot going on, man. Carl Spasato says, this is so cool. I love this program. Just wait for the talk. Dude, hold on.
Hi, Carl.
Slow your roll, Carl. We haven't begun to offend you. So
Did you see
give it.
Mike's comment? Stop it, you silly goose.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Yenny.
Oh, stop it, you silly goose.
So a little update. Two things. One is the Olivia's background. Like Amy's got hers dialed in. I've got mine dialed in. And Olivia's is just kind of a mishmash of stuff thrown together. So we are redoing her entire section. In fact, everything's coming up off the floor. Everything will be hung from the ceiling. All of our lights, which just gives us a whole different way to organize the tables and chairs and everything. Cameras will be coming down from the ceiling. Everything is going to be mounted vertically. We're putting in a full LED ring around the entire thing so it can cast a little better lighting. All of these things are budget, and we wound up doing it for $200. All the new lighting and mounts, which is ridiculous, but I am very good at finding deals on Amazon. And then the backdrop for Olivia was $200. I want to be transparent because you guys give to the show. And by doing that, it's not like, well, why are they spending all the money? Well, because we have a rule. We put about 20-25% of what we make back into the show to make it better, whether it's a new program or increased internet or new cameras or new gadgets and stuff. So we are very happy. So we're excited. That should be done this weekend, and we will launch it Monday, and we're excited. So Amy, we were talking about the inauguration, and I know Olivia and I were interested in going down, and Jason from Wimkin is going to the Maha inauguration event. He had talked about possibly bringing us down, but I don't know if that's going to take place. You sent me a message having some trepidation about it. Walk me through it. How are you feeling? We talked about it on Friday, but we would like to talk to you about it as well.
Yeah. Well, I've heard from people, I'll just say that, that there could be some kind of attack. I mean, obviously, right now it's a scary time with what's happened, what keeps happening, all these things that are happening in our world. It's scary. DC is a scary place without all of that happening, in my opinion. I think DC is terrifying. I get anxiety. I work in DC. I get anxiety when I go. It's just not a safe place, in my opinion. And much better, a rose between two thorns.
That's
So
That's just weird.
God, just melt my heart. Thank you, Amy. I know finally someone understands me. No, thank you. Go ahead. I just was like, I should be in the middle. I mean, because it's been a fantasy of mine.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
for sure.
It's so bad. It's starting early. Hey, what about that guy, a Spotto guy? Are you still like the show? Just wait, it gets worse.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ames.
So no, I have been very trepidatious about going. However, I do subscribe to the fact of like not living my life in fear and not letting someone dictate things to me. However, you cannot carry in DC. You're not allowed to take a gun into DC. I mean, people do, obviously, but I'm not a lawbreaker. I'm a law-abiding citizen, so I would not be carrying. Um, and so for me to go in, yes, I would have a certain level of protection. I would be with the Metro Police Department. Like I would have not a bodyguard, but I would have a cop like assigned to me the whole time. We would get to be like up front though. We'd get to be on the parade routes. We would be getting to do all the stuff. We'd be right there front and center, volunteering, mind you. We're not like there to party, but we'd be there to help out and do our volunteer work and help feed all these police officers. However,
Donuts.
I'm just really scared. I was going to take my kids originally. I'm like, and now I was like, oh, forget that. I'm not taking my kids. And now I'm like, I just can't die. Like they cannot lose their mom.
Right. It's
would be
Jason,
up a creek
totally
without me.
acceptable. Jason, health, you have life insurance, but
Yours?
you can't lose the matriarch. Yeti, I swear, Kat, I'm gonna.
I've already kicked her down once. Do you
Yeah,
know
but look at her. She's trying to push the mic. Look at her. She's like literally leaning on the mic, trying to get you to. She misses mom. She just misses mom. That's all it is. All right, let's put the rat away.
Did you put the splash up for when people donate? Just making sure before I put in a donation.
It's up now. Thanks, baby.
Perfect.
I'm going to move this off of here because it's driving me crazy because I always hit it and I turn it off and I'm such a bad husband. I'm sorry.
I would say don't go.
Well, what do you think? What about, before we give advice, what do you think? I mean, how are you feeling about it?
I don't want to go anymore after what you've told me, and also the inside person that I know has been told that all federal employees have been told to stay out of DC on Monday.
Yeah, can I explain something to you?
And he's like point blank. He goes, "I didn't want to tell you not to go, but I wanted to tell you not to go."
Let me shed some light on here. What you can't do. I'm just going to say this as nice as I can and as simple as I can. I have some friends in the United States government in positions that are extremely high up. And when I say high up, I mean high up. And that's from an intel standpoint. I have friends in Mossad. I have friends in MI6. I've got friends all over the world who I can leverage for conversations that help enlighten me on certain things that I can share. And a lot of the information that I get early comes from just relationships I've built over the years that's unclassed but not released. And those things are good. But Olivia has probably one of the most confidential contacts that even eclipse everybody I know. And pretty much except for like two. Like there's two people that I have that like I can't even tell you who they're with or what they do. Olivia has somebody who is served presidents type information. And if she says don't go into Washington and he says that, I'm highly recommended nobody goes into Washington.
Wait,
and
is it the same person? Is this person relatively close to our area?
No. Yes.
Oh, okay.
But
it might be the same person.
let me explain this. My contacts come from a defensive standpoint and special forces standpoint, MARSOC sniper, Capitol Police, Secret Service, and a few people who are in the alphabet agencies. Hers is completely autonomous of mine and somebody I don't have a contact in one of the alphabet agencies that's fairly new. And that's why I don't have a contact in there. So I'm not going to go into any more specifics. I will just say that my contacts are saying and echoing the exact same thing that Olivia's contacts are. And I didn't know that until she just said that. We have not had that conversation. Like, she sees this person on the daily. Like, on the daily. So I didn't know that. So the fact that you're getting the same thing I'm getting, now I 100% with no equivocation will tell, if my best friend was going to go, I would beg him not to go.
Let me ask you this, because my daughter has a birthday party to go to in Tyson. Like, thank you, Bobby. That's so,
Thank you,
Bobby's the
Bobby.
best. Thank you, Bobby.
She is.
Which
Thank you,
is
Bobby.
just a stone's throw from DC. It's in the
Tyson's-
morning, so I'm like,
Nah.
I already RSVP'd. Yeah, she could go. It's an American Girl doll. I'm like, of course
Listen,
I'm not going to say
anything
no.
that's going to hit you in Tyson's Corner from Washington, D.C. is going to hit you in Round Hill and Purcellville, too. I'm just telling you right now. The fallout's going to... If something like that happens, we're all dead anyway. So, like, if somebody sets something off that size, we're toast. So, that's World War III. That's... No. No.
I didn't
and
hear
as far,
anything about something like that happening, but I
didn't
hear
either.
other things that could potentially happen. I heard about some... I won't go into it because I do respect the person that told me this stuff, and it's complete, like, I'm telling you this because you have a family and I'm trying to keep you safe. So,
Right.
but I just heard there were things that were potential to happen, and some things that other moving parts that have kind of aligned with it recently, I suppose.
Listen, I'm going to put it very simply.
Hope nothing happens.
No. And listen, listen, January 6th, January 5th, the evening of, I gave the same warning. Almost identical, verbatim. It wasn't very specific, and it was that there are definite heightened senses of alert and rumblings of something that could be a danger to other people. This is different. Because here's why. You're going to put... I mean, they're expecting, what, 400,000 to 750,000 people to show up. Like, this will be probably the second largest inauguration in U.S. history. Obama...
I think every hotel is completely booked at capacity.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Obama is going to be hard to beat, but this one is going to be huge. And when you are on the reflection pool, and that's basically where you back up to, and it's all the way up to the White House, you'll see, is there is going to be a separation. You'll have like a quarter of a mile to the White House, and you will be completely separated from the White House grounds. But as far as egress points from that area, there's not much. You've got the Vietnam Memorial, you've got the Washington Memorial, you've got the Lincoln Memorial, and you really only have 2 or 3 places where you can, in between the Vietnam Memorial and the Lincoln Memorial as an egress, walking all the way up to the Flag Monument and the Washington Memorial, there's an egress. And then the Jefferson side is more water, and that's under construction. It's all blocked off. So your egress points are 3. Unless you want to go through the reflection pond, which in that state is probably going to be frozen because it's only yay deep. If one gunshot goes off, and it doesn't even have to be at the crowd, but it can be from the surrounding area of Washington, D.C., which is known for violent crime. One gunshot goes off, and that crowd is going to be running. And I don't know if you've ever seen 350, 400,000, and 700,000 people run, but let me tell you, I've been to Wembley Stadium with 110,000 people, and it is one of the most terrifying things ever, that many people in close proximity. And you would hear them, stomp the stadium, and the whole effing stadium is shaking, right? And you can't even hear the music that's playing or the game that's being played because it's so effing loud. Murmurs will be deafening in that crowd. It will be loud. It'll be confusing, it'll be packed, and it will be scary. God forbid if something like an explosion goes off, or it's multiple rounds fire off. So my whole hesitancy was this. How do I keep my family safe in this situation? I can't. so therefore I won't go. Everyone else has to figure out something on their own. But that's my feeling. Ames, anything else to add on that?
No, I totally agree. Like I said, we were all going to go as a family. And then it came down to like, no, the kids, I don't want them there. It's just too risky. And then I'm like, if I die, like, it's just going to be it's not good. So I don't want to die.
I just don't.
Not that
but
I don't think I'm
how
going
do
to
you
die,
get
but
out?
just
How do you get out?
that's
You
the
can't get
problem.
out of Washington. You can't get out of D.C. And in January 5th, I was literally 1 mile from the Capitol building. We were at Annapolis, but I was coming home from work. And I drove to the National Guard. And what's great is I got in and I was able to talk to some military. And I was, because I want to know what the F was going on, because we heard about it. But I have my credentials with me. I always carry them with me. And I showed my credentials. And I was able to talk to a few National Guard and some State Patrol. But it was for everyone else, miles. People were backed up to Baltimore. People were backed up all the way to Annapolis. People were backed up all the way to Reston. You could not get in or out. And that was not that many people. There was about 57,000 people there. If you add 300 to 700,000 people in there, forget about it. Amy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy.
And I got a squirrel for a moment. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Interrupt this. Who was it? Liv?
Janet Crenshaw.
That's right. Janet Crenshaw. She donated to us at the end of the show last Friday. I don't think we've ever missed saying thank you when someone donates. In fact, I'm pretty confident we never have. But what happened was I got a phone call. So my face went to the other computer. And when the thing went cha-ching, I didn't hear it because the phone's ringing here. You can't hear it. But when somebody calls in, the phone rings through my headset and it overtakes all other computer sounds. So I wasn't looking at the cha-ching. I didn't hear it. Olivia did, but Olivia doesn't interrupt when that happens.
Did you get dinner?
And we went right into a phone call. So we missed it. It seems like Janet wasn't too happy about that. And let me know, which she has every right to do. If she gives her hard-earned money to us, she should get a thank you. So I'm thanking her now. Something we missed. We apologize. It certainly is never our point. Crispy says, never intentional. It gets busy. Crispy wanted to know what the show was about. Said he saw it in his feed. Conservatives, I'm guessing. LOL. Yeah, but conservatives isn't an ugly word. Either is liberal. So I think what you're asking is, are we alt-right or are we leftists? And the answer would be no. But there's nothing wrong with conservatism and there's nothing wrong with liberalism. Both are founded in classic liberalism. The sad thing is nobody actually practices these things anymore. So
I answered him and said, we're conservative, but we call out both sides when needed. And he said, cool, more people should call out both sides.
We do.
So it said it showed up on his feed a few days ago. Him, her, I don't know.
Isn't that amazing that they're now showing
exactly.
us?
That's what I was going to say. It's amazing. All the new people are coming out of the woodwork.
We just hit 20 million people in the last 5 days have interacted with the site. That's the most ever. So it's good to see. Live is still getting throttled. But anyway.
We also have another birthday that I didn't know. Okay. Terry King on YouTube.
Terry King, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Now, is it Terry King who's a queen, or is it Terry King who's a king?
I'm going to assume.
I think it's Terry King as a queen.
Yeah, because there's a Daisy or something as and whoever it is, he, she is bawling because the grandbaby's just called and saying happy birthday. So I would assume it's a girl. I would assume it's a woman.
Congratulations on both accounts and happy birthday. All right, well, we got a show to do. Here's what it comes down to. I would not recommend going down to the inauguration, not because I don't want you to support Trump, not because I don't want it to be a momentous occasion, because it is. I just don't feel safe with my family. That's it. Now,
I'm with you.
If I got an invite to go down by myself and sit on top of one of those buildings, sure, I would go down there. But it's not the case. My family would go. So we're going to watch it. We're going to play it here. We'll have it live, and
I think it's in the afternoon though.
We'll have it here and we'll have it live.
Okay.
And we'll pray that everything's okay and that no idiots. But that's the problem. See, is that this isn't a political issue. It's a mental issue, and people will want to make a statement. And the security, let me just tell you folks, security is very, very tough outdoors. It is one of the hardest things to achieve. I don't envy, because the officers will be outnumbered 500 to 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't envy that situation. No, not at all. So anyway, let's get going. We got a lot to do.
Hi, Tammy.
Tammy who?
Tammy Hines.
Tammy, did she give me shit at the diner for ordering all that? No, she did great. It was, listen, I stopped eating the pancakes every weekend, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna miss them. You're gonna be thinking about it. You're gonna be dreaming about them." And she's right, I am. But I can't walk in there and eat 3 pancakes with a half a cup of syrup with a full omelet and potatoes in it. I mean, come on, I gotta get back to me. So did fresh oatmeal, steel cut oatmeal, blueberries, brown sugar, a little bit of butter. Oh my God, it was fantastic. Like, I'm like, pancakes, schmancakes, who cares? I've got, and she says she did make fun of me. Well, then you did it in your head, lady, because I didn't hear it this time.
Probably behind your back.
I know what wall your new stove is on, and trust me, some well-placed Semtex, you're out of business. I won't mark EOD hazard on the back of that wall. You better be careful, lady. All right, so we got a whole bunch to cover. Let's dive in right away to, trying to think, do I want to go down the button? Yeah, we're going to start off. So obviously the fires are a big thing. And I have been trying to get people to understand the veracity and the intensity of what a wildfire truly is. Now, a lot of people are like, stop calling it a wildfire. It's in the city. And that's not the definition of a wildfire.
Yeah.
A wildfire is a fire that's out of control, that's burning extremely hot, extremely fast, and consuming at a rate that you can't keep up with it. That is a wildfire. This is most assuredly, Tammy says, I eat your share today.
There was also a question about the inauguration.
What?
Will the National Guard be activated for it?
National Guard's going to be on site, but they're going to be in a parking garage. They're not going to have a military presence. You can't.
They sit in a parking garage literally for like 2 full days. Like, they're probably there now, and they don't get to leave. They have to sleep in their cars and shit. It's horrible. The National Guard has like
bring
the
some
worst
food.
of it. Yeah, they have like the worst.
So I've been trying to demonstrate. I know there's a lot of questions. Let's hold them off. Let's try to keep them on topic, because I have a feeling the show is going to go big quick. So let's just keep it on focus. So the veracity of this wildfire is intense. Now, I've heard it all. Blue roofs, because lasers don't work on blue. Yes, they do. Okay. Folks, you need to stop with the direct energy weapon stuff, okay? This government can't even figure out how to pump water, something hydraulics that we've been doing since the 1700s, okay? I'm not going to sit here and pretend that we have an energy source that can be put into a mobile or a aircraft that isn't the size of the Spruce Goose, or a 16 or 22 wheeler or 18 wheeler or whatever it would be. You have to understand direct energy weapons are absolutely real, but they are mounted on ships. They are mounted from satellites. They are not this giant laser that comes out and just incinerates, because why would you need a Jewish space laser when you could pop a flare and get the same work? Why would you spend millions upon millions? Thank you, Kev.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
You wouldn't. So can we just stop with it? This is a land grab, and BlackRock and EV energy and Los Angeles 2.0. Yes, Gavin Newsom said Los Angeles 2.0, because, folks, that's what it's going to be. These areas are going to be rebuilt from the ground up. They obviously are going to use some technology, hopefully, that can prevent this kind of thing and their screw up. So are the politicians to blame? Sure. Did they mishandle this? Yes. Do they mishandle everything? Yes. And I've got the stats to show you. But I also want you to realize what these people were facing. And here's a compilation video which will put this into perspective. Here it is. I don't think I'm going to put music on. We're just going to watch this stupid song. I'll get copyright hit for something that sounds like it's out of Blade Runner. This literally sounds like Blade Runner music. So stupid.
So sad.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
They still don't know what started it, do they?
They have a couple people arrested for trying to set secondary fires. A lot of it's sympathetic fires. Some people say it was a satanic worshiping cult. Some people say it's Jewish space lasers. I'm going to wait for the actual investigation.
Those are the same people. And I'm going to steal it. I'll give you credit. But what you said last night is, according to some people, the United States government can control the weather. That's why the hurricanes, were so bad, blah, blah, blah. So why can't the government, if they can control the weather, just cause a massive rainstorm to come over LA and stop the fires?
Right. That's
Just
the long way around the
Right.
barn. If the Democrats truly control the weather and they went ahead and destroyed the Carolinas because of the vote, well, then why don't they go ahead and put out one of their most liberal states? It's because it's a land grab. Okay.
Some people are just grasping at straws to some people just don't want to live in reality, and they'd rather live in their own little bubble.
There are so many things that can cause these things. It can be a dry lightning strike. They happen all the time. Could be fireworks. Could be a cigarette butt. Could be prevailing winds. Could be a glass bottle that ultimately refracts the sun and heats up a spot. It could be intentional. It could be someone did a gender reveal for their baby and caused one of these things. We will find out. And most assuredly, it's our job to scrutinize and listen. I'm not buying anything. But I will tell you, an 80-mile-an-hour winds, it doesn't take much, considering that's a tinderbox. So,
Considering that in the Hayman fire in Colorado, there wasn't winds this high. I mean, it wasn't even that windy, but 275,000 acres is what it went through. So, I mean,
I want multiple investigations done. Right now, your job should be figuring out how to get these people help, to get as many bodies recovered as possible, and start thinking about what it looks like for a solution. Now, I'm going to show you something. I want to get everybody's opinion on this, but I want to set this up properly. Let's get to Gavin Newsom and what he had to say, and then I'm going to show you some things that are going to make you go, huh?
An open hand, not a...
Here is Newsom. First of all, does anyone see anything wrong with this picture? Watch this.
The uplighting?
Closed fist. He's the president-elect. I respect the office. We have a president of the United States that within 36 hours provided a major disaster declaration over a text. We had support from the president of the United States, Joe Biden, with 100% reimbursement, all the resources you could hope for or imagine, constant communication. I'd like to extend that to the president-elect. I don't know what he's referring to when he talks about the Delta smelt in reservoirs. The reservoirs are completely full, the state reservoirs here in Southern California. That mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us. Responding to Donald Trump's insults, we would spend another month. I'm very familiar with them. Every elected official that he disagrees with, very familiar with them.
We do know, though, from reporting here locally that one reservoir that serves the Palisades was not full.
And that's exactly what triggered my desire to get the investigation, to understand what was happening with that local reservoir. That was not a state system reservoir, which the president-elect was referring to as it relates to the Delta and somehow connecting the Delta smelt to this fire, which is inexcusable because it's inaccurate, also incomprehensible to anyone that understands water policy in the state. I called for them to come out.
My thought?
Yeah, go ahead.
It looks fake because the trees are not blowing.
Well,
but it looks fake.
That's not necessarily the largest. It's in bouquet anyway. I've looked at it several times. It looks like green screen to me. It looks studio produced, and the reason why is it looks backlit at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what it's got. The
it looks like
building that
the
has like the
sun.
lighting. Yeah, I'm like.
It looks like the
right.
sun is setting behind him.
Well, I know.
Behind those trees, but yet the building next to him is all lit up.
Right. So
Correct.
so let's
Some good
continue to
uplights.
watch this. This will help you
Fireproof ones.
understand. Yes.
Be ready for all of those global events. Of course, the next several years, Los Angeles will be host to the World Cup, and then the Super Bowl, and then the Olympics. With this rebuilding effort needing to take place, is LA going to be ready for all of those global events?
My humble position, and it's not just being naively optimistic, that only reinforces the imperative moving quickly, doing in the spirit of collaboration and cooperation. President of the United States, Donald Trump, to his credit, was helpful in getting the Olympics to the United States of America, to get it down here in LA. We thank him for that. This is an opportunity for him to shine, for this country to shine, for California and this community to shine, the opportunity.
So I'm going to say at this point, studio, because I know as a videographer and someone who cuts a lot of video, the sun hasn't moved down. And when you are seeing the sun in its eclipsing point, when it's ready to breach across the horizon, especially in California, the sun's already down at this point. And the sun sets very rapidly in California. And once it crests over the horizon, you usually have about 5-10 minutes of a sunset experience, the golden hue. So, and I've seen thousands of California sunsets from where he's standing, almost, like really close. I lived there for 18 years. I was a rock throw from this town. And I will tell you that these clips and these segments are filmed over an hour, not 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then you cut them up into pieces. And I'm not seeing shadows move. I'm not seeing it get darker. I'm not seeing any movement. So I'm looking on the big screen, and it makes me wonder if this is literally a still image, B-roll type footage / still pictures put up on a green screen.
With all of that and all that opportunity.
And here's another one, is that if you look at the light coming on his face here, and Newsom has light here from his face, so it's coming from here, and this one is coming from the side over here. So you have a light here, and you have a light here. When you look over here, you don't see a light. So where's the light?
That building has I have uplights on my house, so I know how they
like
look.
uplights.
That building
Yeah.
has uplights on it. Like
It does.
I'm
very
sorry,
much
I don't know
does.
any.
It does, because you can see, well, if you look here, this has
The pot,
light
yeah.
coming. Yeah, this pot has sunlight coming and hitting, but this is coming from a different angle. This is coming from underneath. So this is the
Yes.
studio putting lights there, either which make this shot look like it's a set. In my gut, I think it's green screen. There's a couple of other shots that you'll see.
Pride and spirit that comes from not just hosting those 3 iconic games and venues.
Do you see the breakup around his hair right here?
Yes, that's
And
what I was
this
gonna say. The
firm-
line around his head.
Yeah, this firm line. This is usually green screen.
But also the opportunity, I think, to rebuild at the same time.
Oh, it's green screen. I see it right here. Okay, so this is officially green screen. I want you to watch right here, and then I want you to watch his thumb on when he flashes out here. Let me see if I can get it play by play.
He's wearing a green shirt, which is a little risky with green screen.
It's not green. It's actually black. It's coming
Oh,
up as
it
green,
looks-
though. I saw a flash when he moved. See it? Look right here. And if you have it on a big screen, you'll be able to see it.
Oh yeah, I could definitely. That was easier to see. Yeah.
Right there. See the glow?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a light it's very good. And the post-processing, but when he moves fast, it doesn't look genuine to me, especially there. Look at that shit. Look at
Yeah.
the lighting changed. Yeah, I don't buy this.
People here that were ravaged by this disaster.
You just said you're organizing a Marshall Plan for the rebuilding of California.
That's so fake, dude.
Look at the way
Also,
they're.
the ground, like
The ground looks way too funny.
different.
Yeah.
It's
It
different
looks
in the
weird.
other
What
shot.
is that
It's
Marshall
weird.
Plan?
For
Tell
this
us about this
region,
Marshall
we're just
Plan.
starting to lay out. I mean, we're still fighting these fires, so we're already talking.
That's so fucking fake, guys. It's such
really
a
bad.
set. It's a set.
He probably doesn't want to go out amongst the
Right.
people.
No,
and get
no,
harassed
no, no,
again.
no. But this is a
The
set.
air quality is
So
pretty bad.
it's not even that. The guy's trying to make it look. It's like
Awful.
if I
It
was,
is
I'd be
awful.
I'm like, no, get me a standard spot on your handheld camera and let's go. We're not set. I'm not putting makeup on. He's got makeup on. Look at his eyes. Give me a break. He's a. Oh, what a shill.
To city leaders, we're already talking to civic leaders, we're already talking to business leaders and nonprofits, we're talking to labor leaders. We're starting to organize how we can put together.
Here's what it comes down to. Who gives a flying shit about the Olympics? Who cares? Who cares about the Super Bowl? Who cares about any of that? So let me give you some stats, and then I'm shutting up. But I'm putting, this is all coming together, okay? All coming together, ladies. Somebody tell me 2015. How many nationwide fires do you think there were? Give me a guess.
2015. Nationwide, just America. You just make it sure. Make it sure.
Nationwide is on your side.
In the lower 48.
Yes. In the lower 48. Screw Hawaii. No, it's all. It's Alaska. There's no fires in Alaska. I'm just kidding. Yes, there are. So all 50 states.
And
I would say there's probably thousands.
Year.
Yeah, but how many? Take a guess.
3,000.
Wow, Olivia's closer. 68,151. Wow. Now, how many acres were burned?
I'm trying to think. I'm wondering if that was when Colorado.
Oh my God! Don't!
Springs.
Oh, please don't overthink this. We have 10 years to go. So let's just spit it out. How many acres?
I'll say 250 million. Oh.
Okay, 10 million. All right. So then in 2016,
Can't
roughly
get these numbers right.
It's okay. You're doing fine. In 2016, roughly the same amount of fires, 67,000, 68 basically, but only 5.5 million acres, almost half less. Why? Why would there be less acreage burned but the same amount of fires?
High rises.
I'm gonna assume that there was a couple of big fires.
That's
maybe
correct.
Colorado Springs or something like that.
Okay. I told you to stop guessing the fires in 2016. Yes, that's why. Some were very, very large and some were not. Same amount of fires. So in 2000, there's a reason to this. 2000, and I'll show you the graphic. 71,000 in 2017. That's a lot. 10 million, 26 acres. Still less than 15, but there were some larger fires. Now, 2018, 58,000 fires, 8.7 million. 2019, 50,000. That's one of the lowest we've seen. Wait, I thought climate change was getting worse. Why are fires going down? Acreage, 4.6 million. 2020, 58,000 goes up a little bit. 10.12 million. Why does it seem every 2 years it goes up and almost doubles the acreage, but the fires stay the same? I wonder which state is contributing to that. I don't know. Maybe we'll get to that in a second. 2020, 58,000, 10 million. 2021, same amount of fires, almost by 35 less, but only 7 million acres. Then it jumps up in 2022 to 68,000 fires, 7.5 million. So an additional 10,000 fires, but only 300,000 more acres. 2023, 55,000, second lowest year in 10 years, with 2.6 million acres burned. And then in 2024, there was 51,000 with 8 million. Now, we have to ask ourselves the question, why are the fires relatively going down, but the acreage tends to be kind of mishmash? Well, I'll tell you why.
Well, are they including like controlled burns in this?
No.
I don't know if that has, okay, I don't know.
Controlled burns are not considered.
Are they including just house fires that don't go anywhere but the house, or is this just land fires?
I'm going to try to explain it to you. Fires, nationwide, fire, fire. Smoke it. Smoke it, come in my bed.
We have questions, okay?
I need you to rinse. OBKB. Yeah, it's smoke and fire. Yeah. Shut up for a second. In 2024, California experienced a significant increase in wildfire activity compared to the previous year. The state recorded an additional 8,024 wildfires, burning over 1.5 million acres. This also represents that the same thing happened in 2023. And subsequently, every off year, California has a giant fire that takes up almost 10 to 15% of the overall acreage burn. This is not a new thing. This happens every year and a half to 2 years in California, and we are seeing it again. So when they sit here and say, oh, well, come on, man, this is like a rare occurrence. No, this happens all the time. And it's been since Arnold Schwarzenegger was here that we're seeing this. Okay, questions about this?
I remember there were lots of fires in California when I was in high school.
There's always fires in California.
I had a friend that moved from California when we were in middle school, and I remember he was all worried because it was next to his old hometown. So, and it was huge.
Right.
And then the mudslides happened after that. So,
right. California has been an app. Now, people are like, wait a second. Well, It's dry there. It's dry in Oregon too. It's dry in Washington. No, it's not. They get a ton of rainfall. Even though there's fires in Oregon, there's fires in Washington. They also have a wonderful Forest Service, and they do something called backburning. They do dead tree removal, and California is in a high desert. It is drier than a popcorn fart. And that is why you get these massive fires. And over the last 10 years, and if you go back, California always has fires, but at any given time, there's like 300 or 400 fires going for like 2.5 months out of the year. Amy, did you have some thoughts on this?
I just, given those statistics, I cannot believe we are not firing every single person who holds an office there, because if you're able to predict it just like this, like every 2 years, and you haven't taken the past 2 years to prepare and make sure your reservoirs are all filled, not just some of them. And also, I don't know, not discriminating in the fire department when you need like strong people of sound mind. Oh, I hope that's a good thing, Melanie. Yeah, I'd say fire everybody.
You might need a comma in there because it kind of reads weird.
Let's eat grandma. Let's eat, comma, grandma. Yeah. Yes.
What you do with your brother is up to you. And if that reminds you of me, well, then I have an OnlyFans account. So the thing about this is they knew. Now, winter fires in California are not that common like this. This was the right conditions. Extremely dry winter. But horrible, dry, brush, uncleared area. But they had an alert that told them that it was extremely high. And remember, the mayor said that she was not going to go ahead and leave and not represent other parts of the country and not be leveraged. Well, she went and traveled during this time. And I understand that timing is the crux. Ted Cruz happened during the winter of 2017, 2018, when Texas got hammered and their entire energy platform got just frozen. Honey, let's move the cat.
Yeah, I moved her 4 times.
I feel so bad for her tonight. Like, she's obviously
is
neglected.
Like, mom, give me attention, mom. I just texted one of the kids to come get her.
So Glenn said it best. Glenn was like, controlled fires can go out of control. Yes, they absolutely can. It's all fires. But doing a controlled burn where you say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and burn a couple thousand acres. No, that's not included. This is actual fires. And yes, some of these, we're going to show you all those videos. They're all coming. But this is going around the internet. I'm going to debunk this right now. This is saying an illegal immigrant got hold of an ATV and is spreading fires all throughout California. Okay, first of all, you're an idiot. Number one. Number two, the person is wearing U.S. Forest garb, and this is what is known as a controlled line burn, and it's called a back burn. And what you do is you burn into the fire, and that ultimately shuts it down. I'm going to show you a couple examples. Here it is. See? See that space in between from here to here? Mm-hmm. Okay, so what they want to do is have this firewall burn this fuel and then shut the fire down right here, because this is the way it's headed. So they put a gas line here, and it's usually along a trench or an embankment. So it burns down because of convection. Remember I talked about convection? Cold pressure pushes down in the fire, and it will push it down the ravine and into that little gully. That's why they're burning it up on top of a hill. That's what you want to do, because this fire is going to come down to the valley point here, which is probably a riverbed or a creek, and they're going to go ahead and burn it down here, and then this line is going to burn down this way, and they're going to meet in the middle, and then there's no more fuel for the fire. Okay? Yeah, the orange hat and the green shirt should probably give it away. If not, the giant signal flag right here, which says U.S. Forest Service. Dude, you're in Moore Park, Chuck? Man, I'm Ventura, Newbury Park, Santa Paula, Thousand Oaks, Oxnard, Simi Valley area, like all up and down that area. So I know Moore Park very well. We played you guys in Channel Islands football, dude. We used to punt Moore Park off the planet. Ventura Cougar, baby. So Ventura High School, dude. I know Moore Park very well. In fact, Newbury Park, your basketball gym, I helped resurface and paint the Black Panther in the middle of Newbury Park in the high school gym. Just thought I'd let you know. I don't know if it's still there. That was forever and a day ago. I think the basketball was square at that point. All right, so obviously this is not an arson event, okay? So we can kind of relax. Let's chill. This is the last video, and then we're done with the fire. It's a big segment. I know that, and the ladies have been so patient. But this is gonna be where the conversation stems from, and then I'm done presenting, and we can dive into this. This was gonna take almost the full hour. I knew it was going to, and then we can get into some fast stuff. Watch this.
This was supposed to be the water to put out the Palisades fire. This is the Santa Ynez Reservoir. It's the water supply basically for the Palisades. When they first started fighting the Palisades fire, they ran out of water extremely quickly. Wednesday, 3 a.m., they were basically out. And there's been a lot of talk on why this happened. So how long has this reservoir been empty for?
Since February of last year. There was no communication from the Department of Water and Power to LAFD that there was a water supply issue.
The firefighters, when they started fighting the fires, no one informed them that the reservoir was empty.
This reservoir holds 117 million gallons of water.
The fire department was using a water supply from 3 backup tanks, each one only holding 1 million gallons of water. They say it's closed for maintenance to repair the lid that's on top of it. I don't know a lot about reservoir maintenance, but there's literally no construction materials or vehicles anywhere in sight. Also, with a reservoir like this, you can refill it or start to refill it. So another question is, if they saw the Santa Ana winds were coming and we have this remarkably dry wet season, why was there no attempt to start refilling it back up? I know I threw a lot out there, but I think we need some answers, guys. Some real answers here.
Listen, you can't believe Newsom. This is the guy that wants to remove the Second Amendment, take guns away. This is the guy that supported the DEI and woke culture and lied about it. This is the guy who is friends with Sean Hannity, who Sean Hannity seems to admire. These guys all go to the same school. They all work at the same jobs. They're all corrupt. You can't believe anything they're saying. I want to get your thoughts. You guys have had a chance to look at this. I'm going to step back and kind of let you vet the things you heard and let me know what you're thinking. Liv, you go first.
Well, it's really, really sad. And that so many homes people have lost everything. I mean, especially with the no fire insurance. So people are just, they're SOL. They have nothing now. They lost everything and they have no way to make it back. And considering how expensive those houses are in California, I mean, they're not going to be able to rebuild. I mean, they're pretty much bankrupt. This is going to bankrupt a lot of people because they're not going to be able to come out of this. They're not going to be financially sound. I don't know the number of how many people have died.
24, and there are, I think, a couple dozen missing.
I'm pretty sure that number will go up once they can start getting in and looking.
Right.
Once they start going through the ashes and stuff, they'll probably find more. But it's sad with the insurance companies, no insurance. But Newsom just pisses me off. Mm-hmm. He has never cared about the state of California. He only cares about himself. And yeah, I have absolutely no love for him. He's up there with Joe Biden for me. And you know my feelings of Joe Biden.
Didn't you say he was hot last night or something?
No, I didn't. I said at one point when we were talking, this was a couple months ago, when we were talking about what the 2028 election, what we thought would be a good run.
I'm just kidding.
I thought it would be,
I'm just kidding.
Blah, blah, blah.
I don't think you thought he was hot.
He's a handsome man.
Yes, he is.
He's charming.
Yep, he's charming.
But then the devil horns start to peek through, and you
Right.
see what an evil little bastard he is.
Yes,
So,
it's a good word.
and you know what? It sucks that it had to happen this way. I wish there was another way that his true colors could have shown through, but I'm glad that his run for campaign is completely squashed out. I don't think he has a freaking chance in hell to become president after this. I mean, people are going to remember.
Yeah, they are.
I don't want him running our freaking country. If our freaking country is going to be we're going to be speaking Sputnik or Chinese after his 4 years.
A lot of people are wondering, hey, why did the fire burn so hard so fast? I will tell you why. This is California. It's ranch-style homes. You build it on a plateau. Fire burns up in the day. It burns down at night. So when this fire went and crested this valley and came in here, this is really hard to get to. There's a ton of forest here, and it's all dry. Lit up like a candle, and it went up this hill and then just burned everything. And it's all contact. These are all sympathetic fires that ultimately, with that 80-mile-an-hour wind, comes through that valley and comes through that canyon and turns it into a 100-mile-an-hour wind, and it is a vortex of hell. It's no good. Here is another image just to show you what I was trying to explain to you.
Oh my gosh.
Right, this is it. So, guys, these hot points are fire origination, and this whole entire valley caught and went up and just lit it like a match. So there's no reason for Jewish space lasers and direct energy weapons, folks. It literally, Mother Nature did its job, and there was no way to stop this. However, we won't know because the water is that most of those homes didn't have the ability to have water. And it's easy to sit here and say, oh, well, it wasn't going to happen anyway. Well, that's like saying, I'm going to take away the Second Amendment because you can't fight the government. I've said this a million times. It's not about winning. It's about the bear who has to go and get the honey, and he gets 1,000 stings, and he has to say, okay, do I really want the honeycomb? Because I'm going to get stung 1,000 times. Even though they won't kill me, and those bees can't harm me except for being a nuisance, do I really want the honey that bad? And the point is the same thing with the fire here. Just because you didn't have it doesn't mean you could have stopped it, but maybe you could have bought some time. Maybe you could have watered down these houses, because I'm going to show you something after Amy gets to go that's going to blow you away, something I saw in Japan firsthand, and Newsom is saying there is no way that they could have stopped these fires and given enough water. Amy, go ahead, and then I'll show this.
Well, it brings up a good point, because I would like to know how many people rebuilt after the last fire. People who lost, like in Malibu, that was a few years ago. That was pretty bad devastation as well. I would like to know how many people rebuilt and actually stayed, and did they put in like a private reservoir? Because if I live there and this is happening every 2 years, that would be an absolute 100% must. I'd be like, I need a pool, and I need a way to generate actual water, like a fire hose to wet my house, my trees, my property, and enough hose and enough water. I mean, this would just be an absolute necessity. It's like, how can you rebuild without forethinking and actually taking proactive steps to prevent this from happening again?
Yeah.
Unless the insurance companies are in on it with the space lasers, I don't know.
Those Jewish insurance agents. A lot of people might be asking, why are you guys always talking about Jews? It's not us. We're just making fun of the people who do. We'll talk about Candace Owens in a second.
Yeah, we love the Jews.
If it's cold enough. So this is, did I show Gavin Newsom talking about the water in the empty reservoir? Did I show that already?
You showed him on the fake set.
Yeah, I know, but when he talked about the reservoir being, I don't think I did.
That was the other guy, yeah.
I'm very familiar with. I called for him to come out, take a look for himself. We want to do it in the spirit of an open hand, not a closed fist. He's the president-elect. I respect the office. We have a president of the United States that within 36 hours provided a major disaster declaration over a text. We had support from the president of the United States, Joe Biden, with 100% reimbursement, all the resources you could hope for or imagine, constant communication. I'd like to extend that to the president-elect. I don't know what he's referring to when he talks about the delta smelt in reservoirs. The reservoirs.
All right, so we talked about that. So we got to see that. So 100%.
And has anybody said, like, why are they giving 100% money back to these people when they gave $200 or in change and they have to repay it in freaking North Carolina. Like, what's the difference?
Well, the emergency act that he proposed is the same one they did in Carolina too, and Biden did say federal government was going to, but they did not limit the amount of initial survival cash. So you can either sit there and say, "Oh, well, we learned from that natural disaster," or it's that we don't care a bunch of redneck hillbillies and we care more about our liberal elite friends. It sounds like the latter is more true. Watch this. This is in Japan, and I believe this is in Hokkaido. But I've seen this in action.
Out 60 sprinkle.
Now, pardon the AI voice. I can't stand these damn things. I hate them. This is not AI. This is actual footage. But this is what Japan has done in a place that sees a ton of fire.
Have you ever seen a village with automatic fire extinguisher? Shirakawa Village, Japan.
Shirakawa.
Ancient thatched houses over 250 years old hide a stunning secret. An automatic sprinkler system. When a fire breaks out, 60 sprinklers instantly pop up and spray high-pressure water like a giant fountain, quickly extinguishing the flames. The annual test turns into a spectacular water pipe festival, drawing countless visitors to witness the impressive scene. Have you ever seen...
So, minus the AI voice, because, you know, whatever. This is 100% real. If the Japanese can figure out how to go ahead and distribute water and have enough water pressure to use a couple of hundred, and these are long ladder type nozzles. This pressure is immense. These are shooting 100 feet in the air. And they can sustain this for about 5 minutes. If they can figure out, why can't we? This is all over Europe. These are straw huts they're showing. This isn't just Japan. These are thatched roofs who also are susceptible to fire. And at the first sign of it, or even dry weather, they can turn these things on and then collect the rainwater. Now, we got to see that they were on a plateau, but all of those canyons have water coming through. They can all go into like a tributary. They can go into a reservoir. It just takes the effort to do it. But the problem is California has done this slash and burn agriculture for a while. The big problem here is the insurance. And this is what California's always done. Oh, just rebuild it. Just rebuild. Have the insurance companies do it. Now, with all these homes, what's going to happen to this land? What's going to happen to the owners? But something like that in Japan, maybe we just aren't the best at everything. And maybe the United States has to stop being so arrogant, because there's other countries that do things very well, including Japan. Thoughts on this?
Yeah. I think it goes back to exactly what I was saying. If you're going to rebuild, consult with a specialist. Don't just go with any old builder, and don't trust your insurance company, and read the bylaws in your insurance company's handbook and make sure you get an attorney. It's a lot. And
yeah,
I'm not an insurance fan. It's actually truly, if you look at insurance, it's just so ridiculous. I hate that you pay all this money for something that you hope to never use. And then when you do need it, God forbid, you're screwed for the rest of your life. You'll never afford insurance again.
I'm feeling the same way about health insurance right now, you know?
It's a racket. It's a racket. Yeah.
We need to talk about who, I don't know if you guys use private or whatever, but we're trying to figure it out. Maybe you always have these great nuggets of figuring out who to go to. But
I would say do private, personally.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Liv, we've got Mel from Canada. I was just going to say, if you're going to listen to somebody, maybe listen to the Japanese who had their entire freaking mainland on fire. They know how to put out fires. Liv?
What?
Your thoughts?
I thought you were asking Mel. I thought.
No, I'm asking you what your thoughts are on the video that we just saw.
I think it's very cool.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. It didn't stop nukes, but
and instead of focusing our, trying to reroute a highway so the fish can go through, and spending all that money, and then trying to make every single vehicle car, an EV car, and outlawing, making gas vehicles illegal. Which is probably what started the fire.
Right.
How about we concentrate our efforts on making the state safe to live in and doing some maintenance? I'm just happy I'm out of that state.
Me too. Mel from Canada probably has some sound sage advice for us. Mel?
Well, not downstage advice, but I have an observation that the fire mains that feed the fire pumps or the fire hydrants is a separate system from what feeds your house. So what the Japanese have done is they've incorporated their household systems to take the water that they get from their normal household to a system that works for fire prevention. Same as in California. The fire mains for the fire hydrants is a different water system than what feeds the households, because all the houses still had water in their houses. Hence, people were out there with their garden hoses and whatever that were trying to desperately put out their fires, whatever, with their garden hoses, blah, blah, blah. There was still water pressure and there was still water coming from there. So LADWP knows that there are two different systems. They failed, and the household systems and people need to become, as you just pointed out with the Japanese, and what you just showed with that video with systems, and they're available. You can get them off Amazon, like in this El Cheapo, whatever, because a lot of places up here where I live too, we're in the same whatever. But fire mains and water systems that go to fire hydrants is a different water system than what the water is that goes into your house. So how you figure out how to utilize the water that's coming into your house that is still pumping, not the fire mains, is going to be your saving grace. So people need to go out and do a whole boku research. People like me who live out in the trees and whatever, we have figured out how we're going to do this, and we have pumps and fire hoses and whatever to take water out of sloughs and creeks and lakes or whatever to protect, because we live in the trees and the forest, whatever, because we don't live on city water. So we have to figure out something else. But people living on city water have to understand that the city water and the fire mains are two different systems. And I'm sure you have some fire guys on listening here on your show. I think one of them chimed in on Friday or whatever and said kind of the same, like whatever. He knows the fire more than I do, but I know that there's two different systems.
Yeah, but no amount of water was going to stop this. That people need to understand.
No, it wasn't going to. It wasn't going to, but at least you could.
At least you had a fighting chance. Right.
You got a fighting chance.
Right, but in Switzerland they have these. Actually, they have something else outside of Japan. You guys have all seen these trees that are cell towers, and what they do is that they're fictitious-looking pine trees.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have them also, and they're 30, 40 feet up in the air, and they have a nozzle at the top, kind of like the old clown thing we used to run through, and the clown hat would go up, and it'd be a sprig of water, and you run through it, and if the clown hat drops, you lose or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got to sit on that thing, and it basically gives you a derriere wash. So anyway, I don't know if you played that way. We did. We were sick.
I don't think we played that way, but
whatever. Just okay. We played different games. I'm talking about Olivia and I. Okay, it was last night we played this game.
Oh my God.
So anyway, they basically shoot out an envelope about 300 feet in all directions, giant water, and it covers 30, 40 homes, and it's just enough to get those things saturated or to put out a spark or something. But you got to get innovative. And the problem, this is what we always do, whether it's homelessness or whether it's the energy crisis or whether it's, allowing fentanyl or the border, is we pretend that because we can't solve and stop 100%, that it's not worth doing. And this is what frustrates me. Same thing with abortion. It's like, okay, fine, life of mother, 15 weeks. Rape, incest, but can we talk about the 62 million that didn't fall into those categories and save them first? No, let's just keep killing babies. So we've got to get to a point where we can solve these problems. Mel, give me a closing something or other. We need to move on to a different topic. We love you, by the way.
No, all I was just going to say is a spray fine mist constant, which uses less water than an absolute spray, is a better fire deterrent, because when we do firefighting on the ships and stuff, we call it fog on, and it's a mist. It's not a heavy spray, because the spray only knocks it down. The mist prevents it from spreading and doing whatever. That was just my one.
No, you're right. It changes the humidity level. It changes the overall barometric pressure, and even with a horrible amount of wind, water droplets have the ability to get into places that larger water droplets don't. It permeates faster. It clings to the house. It gets to areas that normally large water can't. You're right. It's a fog. Yeah. And it works very very similar to AFFF, which is a fire retardant, but it gets into areas that you normally can't. All right.
Yeah. So
good talk.
A fog is better than spray. Anyways, that was my comment. Cheers. Love you guys.
We love you too, Mel.
Thanks, Mel.
Love you.
Mel, and one thing that's great about when Mel calls in is like after about 10 minutes, there's this donation that comes in. It's like, I don't know if she feels she owes us, but she adds so much value to the show. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you, Mel. You're the best.
Yes,
thank you, buddy. Jane, thank you for your donation.
Jane.
I've said this a bunch. Candace Owens is broken and used to be one of the largest African-American conservative voices in our movement. And now, I don't know, but I wanted to show you something from PragerU 4 years ago and how much she's changed. We'll look at that right when we get back.
The Dumb Store is veteran-owned with a 5-star diamond rating for service and satisfaction. We offer quality products like coffee, shirts, hoodies, and hats, all made by veterans. Shop with confidence, backed by hundreds of 5-star reviews. Use code DUMB10 to save 10%. Visit thedumbshow.com today. Thank you for your support.
Yeah, go over there. Folks, blankets. We have had like, I don't know how many, 10 of those things. The stitching, I'm working with Printful they put a blue stitch on the outside. I'm like, I don't want it blue. I want it black. So they're sending me some approvals. It's going to be, usually those things come out in 5-6 days, but because it's embroidered, it's going to take a little bit longer. Just want to give you an update. It's coming. I should have final approval tomorrow, and then they should do production. They'll have them out this week. You'll probably have them by Monday or Tuesday, but they are coming. They are luxurious blankets. I guarantee you it is going to be a massive hit. So go over to the Dumb Store. Also, thedumbshow.com/donate. Since Facebook has taken and demonetized us, we had to find different ways to be successful, and the best way to do that is through you. You like our show? Great. Please donate. We usually talk about it at the beginning of the show. I kind of forgot to do that. And then we talk about it at 8:30 if we haven't hit goal. We have hit goal now for almost a year straight. I think it's 9 months, and our monthly goal, I stopped counting. Everyone always takes care of us. It doesn't matter if it's $5, $10, $200. We've had people give all denominations. It helps us. It goes right back into the show. So if you like the show and you're like, hey, I want to come back, ask yourself the question. If you spend $20, $25 on streaming services and you only spend 2 hours a month watching them, but you watch the show 3 or 4 times a week, ask yourself, do we deserve more than Netflix? And if that's the case, maybe you can donate. All right. Watch this video. Ben broke Candace. Tell me what you think.
Let me ask you something. So you're a proud Muslim. You're very, very proud of your faith.
Absolutely.
And you're also unapologetically pro-Israel.
Absolutely.
And some people go, whoa, how does that happen? Because we see usually the narrative, especially when you're talking about the Middle East, it seems that all of the blame, they always want to blame Israel, no matter what. The strangest things, anything could happen. It could not rain for 3 days, and it's curse Israel, the Israel state, the IDF. They've brought about all of this. Where does that stem from, and how have you been able to separate yourself from that narrative? And I say narrative because you've been clear that this is not the way actually the majority of Muslims in the West feel, but because we have people that are in power that are using their voice to put this narrative out there, it's become worse and it's become uglier.
So the core of what I'm doing at the American Islamic Forum since we formed in 2003 is to speak truth to power. And the power in our community are the Islamists' establishment, those who believe that we should somehow believe in their interpretation of Islam and their attempt to attack free speech, to attack women's rights, individual rights, ability to criticize them. So top on the list of their power structure is their anti-Semitism, their demonization of the other, and
sounds very different than
Psycho check, psychos!
Than Candace Owens is spewing now. I've shown you several clips over the last few months denying the Holocaust, talking about the USS Liberty, blaming the Jews for space lasers and the Jews and the Zionists for taking over everywhere, and Epstein, and she is just going down the rabbit hole. And from somebody who pointed out the anti-Semitic tropes about Jews, that everything that happens in the world, they're blaming the fires on the Jews. You have to ask yourself the question, she pointed out the hypocrisy. What the hell happened in 4 years besides getting fired by a Jew? Amy, Olivia, your thoughts on this? Either one can go first. And I hate truth to power. Oh, your truth. DEI bullshit.
I don't think I heard that one, but man, it's so sad because I really liked Candace, and I even followed her when she left Daily Wire. I was like, oh, I subscribed again. I was expecting like the same kind of content that she had used to put out. Because as a woman, I think she's relatable in a different way, and I really enjoyed her content. I still follow her because I love her for my conspiracy groups that I love to rile up. They're just the best. And she's like a big person in these groups. Like she fuels most of the conspiracies, I feel like she puts something out there and then people run with it, and it's almost like she's, and I hate to talk about her, she is a fellow Catholic. She's a convert, so she's probably a really good Catholic, but I feel like she almost has this, from what I get, from what I watch, I don't watch everything of hers, but what I have seen recently, I feel like she has this almost God complex for herself, and that she feels that whatever she says is like of biblical proportions, and you must take me at my word, and here is, some loosely based evidence. I don't even know if I would call it evidence or proof. It's not, I have looked at her sources. I have not found to agree with her on most things.
Yeah, me neither.
As of late. And again, I think it's sad because I used to love her. I think she was great. She's, she used to be awesome. I don't know. Maybe it's the pregnancy. Maybe like having kids can really change you. I don't know.
Tell me about it. I think Ben broke her. She had a baby. It was called Ben Shapiro, and that baby bit her nipple because she hasn't been the same since. Like seriously, like just because the Daily Wire did you wrong in your eyes doesn't mean you should hate all Jews. I don't hate Jews. I'm just asking questions. Right, you hate Jews.
Yeah.
So stop pretending. I mean, just say it, right? That's the one thing. Nick Fuentes and Jake Shields, Candace Owens, all these guys, just say it. You hate Jews. It's simple. Just be honest, because everyone knows it.
Like it's making her money, and I think that she saw a taste of that when she branched out on her own. And I think she saw like, this is what's going to make me the money. And I think she's really fed into it. And she is like 100% like all in on, not being supportive of anyone unless you are, I don't know. It's just odd. She hates everybody now. I don't think it's just the Jews, but she does hate the Jews. It is everybody.
I have a thought on her.
She's pregnant again, by the way. I wasn't in town that week. It wasn't me. Go ahead.
My thought is I first saw her in 2015, 2016, shortly after Trump's
Congress. Was she in Congress?
No, she just came out as like a podcaster.
No, I know, but she also spoke to Congress during around that time, which was excellent. But
I remember seeing. I thought she was great. I'm like, yeah, she's awesome. I'm wondering, does anyone know anything about her husband? They got married in 2019.
Listen to this.
They got married in 2019. I guess he proposed over FaceTime 28 days after they first met.
That's right. Keep going.
I'm just wondering if, because some women will just completely transform themselves into what their husband wants them to be and completely change.
What the hell are you trying to say? Excuse me? Why don't you just go ahead and sit in that corner and shut up for a second? You don't get an opinion. Shut your mic up. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
I forgot to make your pot pie again. Sorry.
So something like that?
Did you get a pot pie today?
Exactly. No, if you got a pot pie, my mic would have been shut off. No, but I'm just wondering if he doesn't like Jewish people, or he's a
huge Catholic. Like he's in like maybe not Opus Dei, but definitely the mentality of Catholicism and no other.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that has a little bit to do with it.
Amy,
if
go ahead.
His influence on her is changing her, and she's just not seeing it because even though I'm sure people are telling her, but because she's so in love with her husband that she's willing to change her standards and her morals and who she is as a person to please her husband. I don't know, just a
So
thought.
Amy, Olivia is saying that Catholicism is evil.
I did not say
and turns
Catholicism.
people to hate Jews.
No, I was
So
wondering. I was wondering about it.
Catholics hate Jews. I mean, go ahead, Amy. Go ahead, explain. Why do you hate Jews, Amy?
So it's told, the Pope told us to, and what he says is next to God. No, that is not. I will defend the Catholic religion in that, like, the Catholics love the Jews. Like, we love the Jews. I mean, Jesus was a Jew. Like, we have a ton of respect for the Jewish people, although we think they're wrong. Obviously, we think they're wrong, and they think that we're wrong, and that's okay. We can totally but we totally support them. I mean, Christians are very supportive of the Jewish faith and the Jewish community and the Jewish people as a whole. However, with that said, just like every other religion, there are Catholics who are like out there, and they are crazy. The crazy Catholics, man, they hate everyone, and they believe that we are, I mean, I believe this too. We are the true religion, but everyone believes that.
So basically no different than the other 217 denominations in the world. Got it.
Correct. So we do believe that we are number one, and there are the crazy people who are out there and openly hateful towards other religions, even though it directly conflicts with what the Bible tells us to do. So, I don't know much about him other than he is a very devout Catholic. He is very well read in history. I do know that little bit about him. I don't know if he was born Catholic, if he's a cradle Catholic, or if he converted like she did. But usually converts are like diehard, like they are like the diehard Catholics. I'm a cradle Catholic, so I'm just coasting through.
So, to me, none of that.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of that. I know Catholics don't hate Jews, no matter what Olivia says.
I did not say that.
But
it's a cult. Some people think we're a cult, so it's really...
Self-actualization is a very important thing to me. So, like, my issue is this. It's like people who go on Oprah, and they're like, oh, God, I'm having my 7th mama baby, and, I just can't stop doing heroin. And I got fired from my job again for telling my boss to go fuck himself. I don't know what's wrong. Why? What is going on in my life? And it's like, hey, you just said every reason why your life sucks because self-actualization. You know the problem. So when people go on Oprah, I'm just like, watch the film. Watch the replay of this, and you'll have all the answers. Candace Owens just lambasted people 4 years ago who are doing exactly what she's doing, and now she's doing it. How can the motivation be anything other than money when somebody has a level of self-actualization that's profound? She was one of the first people to say and see this phenomenon, and now she's into it. So now she's using it as, I'm woke about Jews. And I'm like, oh man, this sounds so like this. You just borrowed the transgender movement and just changed the fucking name after woke. I don't get it. Your truth to power. Make me sick.
You can find anything online that you want to believe, if that makes sense. I mean, if you want to go down and come after the Jewish people or any other insert people, you can find a ton of history depending on where you look to support whatever you want to claim, because you can twist anything. So
right.
It's completely feasible, but I think it's all for the money. And if that's what's helping her to pay the bills and she can sleep with herself at night, and her husband, obviously, if she's pregnant again.
Obviously, obviously,
if they
she's
allow
not
that.
sleeping alone.
I heard Catholics don't have sex, so it's all
we have
immaculate.
We have a ton of kids. I'm like in the minority that I only have two.
Yeah, but you don't need to have sex in the Catholic religion. You just need to pray, and then you'll have the baby without sex. That's the way. Come on, I know how this works. Okay. So everybody's name. All the women are named Mary. This is how this works. It's in the Bible. I've read this somewhere. I'm sure.
Hey,
so
I missed that.
so that's the problem. Is that people just keep regurgitating the same thing. They're like the Talmud. Well, go to the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not the one I believe in.
Well, that's the Talmud.
That is the Talmud. That's what the Old Testament is, you jackass. And there's a reason why you moved on from it, because it was hurting donations. So, and it was hurting the umbrella of bringing people in. That's what happens when you have to stone somebody for planting crops side by side, or selling your children into slavery, or killing your mother because she wears 2 different garments on the Sabbath. Yeah, this stuff is a little woo-coo. Yeah. So now it's this new modern day religion where everybody's understanding and God is kind and loving and he doesn't have any vengeance in his soul. And it's
I still think the Old Testament rules are extremely relevant to not all of them. And I stand by what I would say, that it's not for today. It was for those times. We were like Neanderthals. We didn't know how to freaking live. God had to train us up. We were like basically kids. He had to train us up right. It took a long ass time. Here we are. We're still messing up.
Rewrote it. When did this happen? When did he decide to send a chapter 2, a 2.0? When did that take place?
When he sent us Jesus to die for our sins.
Right. So we're saying that the Old Testament predates Jesus' arrival on earth, and that the New Testament is See, I think I caught a quagmire.
It doesn't. It does predate him, but there's tons in the Old Testament that talk about Jesus coming eventually.
Correct.
Because it was all planned out.
So you have to ask yourself the question.
Bible minute.
Is it? No. Did they write it in lieu of a predictable future that was understood, or did we somehow change it generationally with people not paying attention? I think we know the answer. So when you look at the Bible, you kind of got to just go, there's some things here that wouldn't get lost in translation. And if you look at the 180 from the Old Testament to the New Testament, can you imagine? It's just like, I'm going to kill you. What did I do? Abraham, you touched this dead thing. I've got to put you to death. And then you're like, but wait a second. The New Testament says, we can all live in harmony.
Because we have Jesus.
That's correct.
That's what changed.
So you're seeing a massive change in the way religion was versus the way it is. So isn't it possible that the Talmud, yes, and the Hasidic Jews still follow the Talmud, and yes, they are a little buku, and so are Opus Dei, and so are so are Mormons. Let's just be honest with you, those fucking people. Just kidding.
They're so nice, though. I love the Mormons. I don't believe what they believe, but I really love all the people I know that are Mormon are the nicest people ever.
Whatever. See, what's funny is that if we took Mormonism and we made it, 3,000 years ago or 6,000 years ago, we would all be Mormon. And Christians would be the ones we're laughing at. Right, Brigham Young. Jesus, really? 346 years ago? Give me a break. All religion has the suspension of disbelief. And you have to focus on the things that make us different from evil. That's the way I look at it. And however you want to achieve that, whether it's Christianity or Buddhism or some sort of secular religion that has nothing to do with it, dogmatic principles, or you're an atheist, if you try to live the best life you can, if you try to understand the difference between good and evil, you'll probably have a good chance of absolution when you get to that point, I would assume. I'm not God. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to get there and he's going to be like, you should have taken out an insurance policy, buddy. You're going to hell. My opinion is all of this is just, it's the absence of God. And I believe that's what hell truly is the absence of God and without his grace. So we're on earth, and I know some people feel the absence of God, believe that this is hell on earth. Some people believe that they feel God, however it may be. But truly, that would be a hellish experience, is to have no salvation, to have no end to this. And kind of the torment that we feel and the lost feelings we have, having that for eternity is one of the most damning things I can think of. So maybe it's not all fire and brimstone and a guy with horny horns. Maybe it's something deeper than that, more philosophical. But either way, this is not Religious Hour on the show.
Thank you, Annie.
I know.
Thank you, Annie.
Thank you, Annie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a series of questions. Are you ready?
Yes. Is this like rapid fire or
this is huge. This is huge.
Okay, so who answers first?
So I don't care. So Greenland, what's bigger, Alaska or Greenland?
Greenland.
Now, okay. I want to put a preface here. I'm not talking about like square miles. In your mind's eye, and you might be off a couple 100,000 miles, because one's more elongated than the other. It's like looking at Florida and then looking at Texas, and you could say, oh, wait a second, Florida is longer than Texas, but overall square miles, we know Texas is bigger. I'm just saying from a visual perspective, from a map, what's
Greenland.
bigger,
Oh.
Greenland or Alaska?
On a map, Alaska's much bigger.
Okay. Okay. So you guys
Right?
disagree. What? I don't know. What's bigger, Alaska or Sweden, Norway, and Finland?
Put together?
Yeah.
Sweden.
Yes, all three. I just mentioned all three of them together.
I would say
They're
Alaska.
also small. Yeah. I would
Alaska's
say
bigger than Finland, Norway, and Great. Okay. What is bigger? The United States or Canada?
United States.
Are you sure?
I'm going to say Canada.
No, if I'm looking at a map, which
Yep. What's bigger?
everything
Canada
in
or
the United States is bigger.
What's bigger, Canada or United States?
Canada.
USA.
Canada.
What's bigger, China or Eurasia? Which is
Eurasia,
you're okay. You sure?
right?
I'm going to go with China.
I would
I'll just
think
go the
so.
opposite of you.
Because it's all of Europe and Asia.
What's
right?
bigger,
That's
Australia
all-
or What's bigger, Canada or Australia?
Canada.
I would
What's
I
bi-
would say
what's-
Australia.
What's bigger, Alaska or Australia?
Australia.
Australia.
What's bigger, the United States or Australia?
United States.
U.S.
I'm,
We're getting
I'm
them all
very-
wrong. It's because the maps are
you
drawn
ready?
here in the United States, and it's all
This
wrong.
is okay. So the Mercator projection is ultimately what we go off of, which is that northern hemisphere is larger than the southern hemisphere. When actuality, that's not true. And the reason why is the northern hemisphere is on top, so it projects that it's better. Same reason why when you move to a city, nobody wants to move to the south side. Everybody wants to live in the northwest because that's the newest area, which is usually the furthest from the mountains and the water. But the nicer areas are northwest because it's away from the southwest and the or southeast, which is usually run down, older parts of the neighborhood where more crime is. It's just a mental thing. It's the railroad tracks. People want to live on the west side of the railroad tracks versus the east, right? So these things kind of throw us. But what have I told you that the Mercator map is actually upside down?
You're pulling a West Wing.
I'm not pulling a West Wing. This has nothing. Yes, it's in West Wing, but I'm not pulling a West Wing because what I'm going to show you is not in West Wing.
I know
Thank
that.
you, Suzanne.
Then why did you say it?
Are you going off of the flat Earth map or the globe map
Oh,
or
God,
the?
shove it up your ass.
I'm totally
Shove it up your
kidding.
clown derriere. All right, so
I'm kidding.
so I know you are. So here's and who did I not thank right there?
Suzanne.
Suzanne. Thank you, Suzanne, very, very, very much. I'm trying, folks. I get distracted. I got 50 million things going on. So I want you to watch this map. And here is the true size. Does this surprise you?
I'm so confused by this image, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, where's?
But because
it's not detached. How come
It's not-
Africa doesn't
it's
change
not-
at all?
It's not because Africa is scaled to size on this ratio to proportion. These are the northern hemisphere areas which are made to look bigger than they actually are based on the Mercator projection. Here is the Mercator.
But that doesn't make any sense.
They're not shrinking.
It looks like it. You're.
Yeah, it's showing you the actual size. Here is
Right.
the Mercator map. Okay? Just everyone hold on. I know your brains are all fucking fragged.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? So this is the Mercator map. They elongate certain portions in the north and they make it look bigger than it actually is.
Okay.
So if we look for an actual this is based on actual size, real size, relative size, based upon square footage and everything else, this is actually what it is.
And the darker color is the real size?
That's correct.
And the light
so
color,
put it all together the way it is. Put it all together the way it is, and that is a more accurate representation of what.
My confusion is the U.S.-Canadian border, because if you put
Oh my
Canada
God.
down, they
It
don't.
fits. Yes, it does. It does.
They
fit.
don't match up.
It does fit. This fits right here. All it's showing you is that this is what the map says it is right now. This is the Mercator. But this is the actuality of the size of these areas in the Northern Hemisphere. This is what it says it is. This is the actuality. All this extra light blue space, it still all fits together. Just put it back together, but just get rid of the light blue. And the dark blue is the actuality.
Interesting. Why is them that way?
Well, that's a wonderful question. We're going to go ahead and figure it out right now. I'm going to go to West Wing.
Never saw it.
Thank you, Miss Craig. Appreciate it.
What? Who? What? Where?
Yeah, Miss C.J. Craig was the one there.
Yeah, I got it. All right, so here you go.
Hi, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Sorry to be late.
Not a problem.
I'm C.J. Craig.
Of course you are. I'm Dr. John Fallow. This is Dr. Cynthia Sales and Professor Donald Huke.
Huke?
Huke.
Okay, and you are the Organization of Cartographers for Social Equality.
Well, we're from the OCSE. We have many members.
How many?
4,300 dues-paying members.
What are the dues?
$20 a year for the newsletter.
Let's start.
Wait.
$20, folks, for that newsletter. You could give $20 on this show and help us hit goal because we are desperately behind, over $125 behind, and we always like to overdrive. So I have faith in my people. I'm just letting you know it's late in the hour. Here is the rest of the show.
Wait, I want to see this.
This is Josh Lyman.
Indeed you are.
Josh, this is Dr. Fallow, and who's Mary Men.
Yes.
Should we begin?
Yes. Plain and simple, we'd like President Bartlett to aggressively support legislation that would make it mandatory for every public school in America to teach geography using the Peters projection map instead of the traditional Mercator.
Give me $200 and it's done.
Really?
No. Why are we changing?
So, folks, sorry about the lag. I realized that I had ultra high resolution and it's too much. So now this should be a lot smoother. I realized I changed that a couple weeks ago. No more lag in our videos.
Because, CJ, the Mercator projection has fostered European imperialist attitudes for centuries and created an ethnic bias against the Third World.
Really?
If you have not liked this show, you better like it now.
Originally designed this map in 1569 as a navigational tool for European sailors.
The map enlarges areas at the poles to create straight lines of constant bearing or geographic direction.
So it makes it easier to cross an ocean.
But
yes,
it distorts the relative size of nations and continents.
Are you saying the map is wrong?
Oh dear, yes. Look at Greenland.
Okay.
Now look at Africa.
Okay.
The two land masses appear to be roughly the same size.
Yes.
Would it blow your mind if I told you that Africa is in reality 14 times larger?
Yes.
Here we have Europe, drawn considerably larger than South America. When it's 6.9 million square miles, South America is almost double the size of Europe's 3.8 million.
Alaska appears 3 times as large as Mexico, when Mexico is larger by 0.1 million square miles.
Germany appears in the middle of the map when it's in the northernmost quarter of the Earth.
Wait. Relative size is one thing, but you're telling me that Germany isn't where we think it is?
Nothing's where you think it is.
Where is it?
I'm glad you asked. The Peters projection.
It has fidelity of axis.
Fidelity of position.
East-west lines are parallel and intersect north-south axes at right angles.
What the hell is that?
It's where you've been living this whole time. Should we continue?
Uh-huh.
Such a good show.
So, your probably wondering what all of this has to do with social equality.
No, I'm wondering where France really is.
Guys, we want to thank you very much for coming in.
Hang on, we're going to finish this.
Okay.
What do maps have to do with social equality, you ask?
She asked.
Salvatore Natoli of the National Council for Social Studies argues, in our society, we unconsciously equate size with importance and even power.
I'm going to check in on Toby.
Go.
These guys find Brigadoon on that map. You'll call me, right?
Probably not.
Okay.
When third world countries are misrepresented, they're likely to be valued less. When Mercator maps exaggerate the importance of Western civilization, when the top of the map is given to the Northern Hemisphere and the bottom is given to the Southern, then people will tend to adopt top and bottom attitudes.
But wait, where else could you put the Northern Hemisphere but on the top?
On the bottom.
How?
Like this.
Yeah, but you can't do that.
Why not?
Because it's freaking me out.
So, the whole reason I show this is Olivia understood this. Amy, your thoughts on it. You know, you're a flat earther. So
No, I'm not a flat earther. Oh my gosh. I'm not a flat earther.
Didn't you
Oh
say
my
that the
gosh.
Bible isn't real because it shows a flat? No, I'm kidding.
Did.
So,
Thank you, JD.
Did you? Are you aware? Are you?
Fudge.
Well, there we go. There it is. They're trying to censor
flat
Amy's
earther.
opinion.
Try it.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think about that? And there are some things about the Mercator projection and the Peterson projection that there's argumentation. Is that if you take a look at a picture of the Earth from space, all of this will be verified. But most of the photographs and the moving pictures that you see from can't believe moving pictures. What am I? I'm moving pictures. See those moving pictures. But the moving pictures that you see on Apple TV and whatever usually zoom into the United States, and you'll see it like go over the U.S., but it's very zoomed in. But when you see a full pullback, and you get something from a telescope, projected satellite, or the Hubble base or whatever it is, you'll see that these anomalies are fairly consistent to the human eye based upon what the map is. But because we see the United States there, we don't make the comparison contrast, right? But when you see it on a fixed map, spread out, flattened, flat Earth style, you go, oh my God, the disparities are huge. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean,
I gotta pee.
I'll just say this.
Just the reaction I was looking for. Would you mind grabbing some water? Please.
I would like for them to be teaching accurate information. I don't agree with what they're saying about the top bottom thing personally. But I also live in the top. So I don't know.
Would you want to live in Africa? Would you want to live in Africa with all those crazy animals wanting to kill you? What about Australia?
Yeah, not at this point. I would probably not live in Australia. Maybe New Zealand. I just like the
South
politics.
America?
Yeah, I would move to South America 100%. Sign me up.
There are some spots. Spots.
I'm in. Let's go. I'm ready to leave. Tell me where we're going. I mean, certain places.
But it's crazy, right? We've believed this.
Yeah.
And I think there's people who would die by that on that hill and say, these are all lies. This isn't true. And they will get so upset. So the question is, if you were so certain on this show right now, yesterday, that everything you just saw was 100%, that anyone who said anything different was a lie, now what do you think? Now, I've known this for 30 years.
Yeah. I think I've known a decent amount of it too, especially because once you travel abroad, you can actually measure like, okay, it takes this long to drive from here to here in the United States. This country is relatively the same size as this state. And so you can do that simple math, and I'm terrible with numbers and math, but going to Europe as much as I did when I was younger, I knew it wasn't accurately depicted. I also know that maybe I've seen other maps too. I knew that Greenland's tiny like that, but I knew that was like blown up. Yeah.
Thank you, sweetie. Yeah, it's just.
But I think it was taught that way to us when we were little. Wasn't it taught that Greenland's this little tiny thing above, like near Canada? I mean, I remember learning it's this tiny little place.
That's right. But on the map, it's not. On the map, it's this gargantuan, giant, spread out thing. And it's obviously maps based upon nautical traveling and using, laterals and parallel.
Yes, you're right.
Longitude and latitude.
Yeah.
I just changed the vernacular. Geometry versus versus geography. But anyway, longitude and latitude, and using these perpendicular segments that don't translate to landmass in the southern part of the hemisphere, and having to stretch that landmass to fit. It's an interesting standpoint that it's still correct from a navigational standpoint, but it's not from an education standpoint or an everyday knowledge standpoint. But here's the thing. You can look at that map in several different ways. You can look at topographically. You can look at an overall non-three-dimensional view. You can look at it from a subterranean aspect. You can look at it from a water.
Right.
You can look at it from the type of vegetation. So there's multiple ways to look at a map and take information from it. But the fact that it's absolutely wrong in pretty much every sense of the word is kind of incredibly strange.
Messed up. I don't remember learning that I truly don't remember the map looking that way in school. And then also maybe we should be taught different maps, because if you are someone who wants to be a captain a boat and that's your livelihood, you should the map they use a different map. If you're a pilot, they use a different map, because again, it's just how.
Well, here is a map from 1974, 1976, when I was in school. This is showing a map of what we just showed you, which is fairly accurate and incredibly crazy that it is what we learned. And if you just even look at Lake Michigan, I mean, it's Michigan, Lake Michigan,
it looks
and
huge.
Huron and Ontario. I think those are the three, right? Huron, Ontario, and Michigan. Is that what it is?
Erie. Yeah.
Erie, thank you. Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, and Lake Erie are roughly the size of the Black Sea. What?
Yeah, they're huge.
What? And I know that's not possible because I've been to both, and there's no good way that that's true. So it's just an interesting thing when we think we know something. So there's people, I guarantee, please chime in, that there's people who are watching the show who are like, I didn't believe it, and I still don't believe it. And then there's some people like, oh my God, I didn't believe it, now I'm going to go research it. But what else don't we know? Like, we were watching a great movie last night, Interstellar, and thank you so much, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Mikey.
That's son.
Mikey.
Just do Mike Jr. It's easier. So, showing a black hole, a lot of people think a black hole is flat, or it's two ellipses that meet and look like an hourglass, when actually it's a sphere. And if I ask you to explain it to me, there's not a chance in hell that a lot of people can, because it is a three-dimensional thing. And the best way to describe it, and I don't have a piece of paper here, but if you have 2 points in space on a piece of paper, one at the top and one at the bottom, the path of least resistance, and what we've been taught is, as the crow flies, a straight line is the closest point. But if you poke a hole in the top and poke a hole in the bottom, but then you take the top and mesh it with the bottom, the holes line up. And essentially going through a wormhole, or what some say a black hole as well, is a three-dimensional type of transition that makes the straight line, the long journey, versus going through the sphere from point A to point B, would ultimately get you there in an inkling of time. A lot of people can't explain that. They can't fathom that. They can't understand it. But when you conceptualize what it means, it kind of changes your mind on other things that we think we know. Because remember, it wasn't that long ago that people believed the earth was flat. It wasn't long ago that people believed the smallest matter on earth was a grain of sand. Think about that. The smallest matter on earth is a grain of sand. And that's unfathomable to you. And do you understand how much more that just wrap your head around this real quick. And then I'm going to open it up and we're going to be done. Liv, work with me here.
I'm working.
You got to focus on this because I don't know what you're talking about. Smallest matter on Earth is a grain of sand. And now what I want you to do is I want you to take the size of things comparable going down the negative equation. Smaller, 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 smaller. Got it? Versus larger, 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 larger. There are more things down the line that are smaller than a grain of sand than there are things in the universe that are larger than a grain of sand.
That I never would have thought of.
How does that not blow your mind? And it should. So when we sit here and say that the Earth is the final stage of everything, and we're in the center of these noble gases just floating in it, and that we're the center of the universe, it's awfully obnoxious. Because from a downscale to smaller, we are infinitely not the center of the universe. And we just very well may be one of those microscopic organisms in the minus equation compared to the overall scale of greatness of where we are. That is where you have to stop and say, maybe religion, maybe science can't grab everything. Maybe religion can't grab everything, but together we can start answering some questions. But that is where, as I get older and I can't fathom the infinitesimal small chain of things down that negative line of who we are, and I certainly can't comprehend the ones that are larger, but there are infinitely more smaller things than there are larger, but we think the vastness of space is as big as it gets, when honestly as big as it gets is the smaller it gets. That's the shit that I sit up at night and go, yeah, my brain isn't designed. And there isn't a brain on the planet who's designed to conceptualize those things. And maybe that is omnipotence in itself. Maybe that is the definition of what a deity is the person who can conceptualize the confines of what we are not and the expanse of what we are. It's interesting. Amy, take us out with our 1 minute. This might be the first night we don't hit goal. I mean, it might be the first night.
Well, thank you, Jennifer, for the donation.
Yes, thank you,
She's
Jennifer.
helping us.
Real quick, I just have a quick personal question for you, dear. Do you want Ethan to wait to take the trash cans till you're done so you can go with him?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much.
Yell at him. He was going to put his shoes on.
Ethan, I'll be there in a minute. So just FYI, thenumbshow.com/donate might be the first night in history. We got 6 minutes to hit goal. It's going to take a lot of people digging deep, but this might be the first night. Remember, January and February are our slowest months of the year, so it's kind of a tough time for us right now. Just think about that. I know it's a tough time for everybody. Don't give till it hurts. Give till it feels good. And if you can't, just like and share. You don't need to write an explanation. You don't need to tell me why. It's fine. You don't owe us a gosh darn thing. If you want to, do it. Amy, go ahead.
Well, it's been a fun show tonight. It's been great being here. When hearing you talk about the amount of things in just in our Earth here that we have discovered, that we know about, and knowing that there's more to still discover that we probably will not do in our lifetime. Hearing you say all that just made my heart happy, because it's like, oh my gosh, you're like totally getting like God. Like that's, to me, that's just like, wow, that's just, you're just really, maybe you don't realize it yet, but you are definitely, you're getting there. He's working at your
You
heart,
think so?
and that makes me happy. Yes, that's all I could feel. And, I pray for everybody.
But what if he, but he speaks about people like me. He speaks about people who are going to challenge your faith. And he speaks about people who, I've always embraced that role. But maybe it's no longer my time to question your faith. Maybe it's my time to help people find their faith.
Question my faith always. It never bothers me. I've not always been a super Catholic. I'm still not. Jeez, it's not good.
Super Catholic. like just a big old C on your chest, and you're just like, is that C stand for Catholic? It can stand for something else.
Next
it just depends
Tuesday.
on what time of the month it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But
that makes me happy that you feel that way. I these are the conversations I have with my children, and it's amazing. At 13 and 10, I can have that conversation. Last night we were watching Interstellar, and 30 minutes into it, I'm like, any questions? They're like, no. I'm like, you understand what's going on? They're like, yep. And I'm just like, What?
Kids get stuff. They do.
Yeah.
They just get things.
We've been talking about stuff like this. I want to end on this. This is a feel-good moment. It also gives people a chance to donate if they haven't already, so we can hit our goal tonight. Peter Ducey and Claude Jean-Pierre, I just saw this, had their last hurrah, and it is touching. I don't care what you think about her. She's never been more pretty. She reminds me of... she's never been pretty. I think she's a horrible human being. But she looks like Whitney Houston in this, and she's smiling, and she's having fun, and Peter and her embarrass each other, and it really is a touching moment. Watch this. Liv, you're going to like this one.
Okay.
It really is, and it just shows that this stuff transcends politics. Melanie, thank you so much. We're closer.
Melanie.
Thank you, Melanie.
We're about $27 away, maybe. No, $37 away, something like that. Thank you, folks. Here we go. Watch this. This is great. Seriously, stick around for this one. This one is good. And if you haven't liked the show, hit the like button, please.
Hi.
Thank you, Corinne. If I don't see you again
Well, you know.
in the briefing, thank you for always. You could have stopped taking the hard questions years ago, and you didn't. So we appreciate that.
Over 2 years, my friend. This is, let's say, one last dance, right? I don't know how I'm going to fill my dance card now. How will I fill that void without you?
You tell me. You tell me. So
Start some rumors in here, I guess.
He's getting red, too. Look at
so a week from now, it's all over.
Yes.
Between next Monday and 2028.
2028?
Who's the leader of the Democratic Party?
Oh, my goodness. Wow. That is, honestly, that is for people much smarter than I to make that assessment, that decision. Obviously, voters will decide. That is not something for me to decide. I could say right now, in this moment, in this room, as I'm looking at the clock as it's counting down, because we have to leave shortly, you have the President Joe Biden, who is obviously the president and the leader of the Democratic Party. I do not have I cannot predict the future, so that is not something that I'm going to do from here.
It's nice to see a little bit of humor. It's nice to see her not have her scowl on and lying through her teeth.
Yeah.
Liv, take us home with your final minute, if you would not mind.
Yes.
Judy Vincent. Yeah. Thank you so much, Judy. St. Vincent family,
Yes.
2110.
Brad Jr., and Mama Judy.
We are $10 away. Unless somebody comes through, you've got about 1 minute. Go ahead. Liv.
So first off, thank you to everyone who donated, and another donation just came in, so I'll put that one in a minute. But we actually had a special request from a listener, and
take my shirt off? No, not doing it. Not doing it.
It's more on the somber side of things. It's not.
So thanks a lot for setting us up, Liv. All right, hold on a second.
Geez.
Hold on. Let me get my frown on. Hold on. I should have played something somber full. Okay, hold on.
So over the weekend, this listener's best friend was found dead. They were friends for more than 40 years, and she's just asking that we pray for his family. And so,
who?
It's Jane from Rumble.
Oh shit!
So
Jane's had a
she
hard
wanted,
enough time.
yeah, she
Come
wanted
on.
to ask for prayers for the family.
Amy, I love when you're here when it's prayer time, because we do it in private, but we're not very good. You want to help Jane. Jane
I'm
is
the worst at publicly praying, but I always do it. So it's
that's why, because we're even, if you can believe it, worse than you are. So if you would not mind leading us and just saying a little prayer for their soul and I'll listen.
Yeah. First of all, just God,
Jane,
just thank you
what is their name?
Let me see.
Sorry, it kind of helps to have a name. I'm sure God can figure it out.
Does.
But
He does. He knows. He's got that.
It doesn't say.
All right. So Jane's friend. Okay.
Yes. So, God, we just want to thank you for bringing us all here tonight to bring up Jane's friend in prayer and lift them up to you, and to please bring their family closer to you right now, and help them through this process of grieving and finding their place and their next steps. Just keeping their family filled with love and tons of family and support that they need through this difficult time. And we just ask all of their love to be met, their support to be met. And we thank you again for this. And thank you for Jane. And thank you for her and her family. And we just ask for your healing right now in this time. And in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. You do that so
Is
well.
that okay?
I'm
it's
wonderful.
so bad at public prayer.
Bobby.
Bobby, thank you.
Every time.
Hang on.
You know, can I say, there have been people who have donated a lot. I mean,
yeah.
There are so, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you. And I'm not even going to start naming names. See,
Mel.
There's Mel every time. I
Thank
can't
you,
even
Mel.
begin to, we need to put on the website like investors at this point.
Yeah.
I think it's time to do it.
Yeah.
There's probably like 10 people who are investors into this show. And honestly, they need to be a part of Don't Unfriend Me. And there's so many, Kevin, there's so many people. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how many people, but there are just a group of people, and it doesn't even have to be the dollar amount, who I know what they make and I know how they're struggling, and they're trying to save up for a car, or they're trying to save up for rent, or those people too. But we need to do something that recognizes an investors group. And those people, and God, I hope we make it, and I hope we get to a level where we can. Thank you, Brad.
Oh.
Thank you. They need to be taken care of, and maybe they're just on a board or something. Maybe they get to help decide the way of the show. I don't know, but something needs to happen, because there's just people who literally give like $1,500 a month. It's unbelievable to me that anyone would say, I'm going to give your family $1,500 from my family so we continue the show. That is what keeps me going. And when anyone comes in and goes, oh, you got 125 people watching, I'm like, yeah, but you know what? My 125 are some of the most loyal fucking 125 you've ever seen. And they give all the time. And it's more than that. We know it's more than that. We know Facebook is throttling because we have 4,000 comments, and there's no way we see all the different comments. And you guys are just amazing. We feel so blessed. We just, God bless you. It doesn't matter what we do. You guys always come through, and we love you for it. And we're humbled. And that's my minute. And that's it. Liv, what are we doing? Oh, go ahead, Amy.
No, that was it. I'm saying, yeah, like I'm with you.
Oh,
yes.
You're great.
Love it.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone. We really appreciate all of your support, because really without you guys, we definitely would not have made it through 2024. It probably, we would have been able to go through, I think March is when they took us down, and we got the notification of March, but we still had through March. So we probably would have been able to be okay through May, possibly June.
Yeah.
And then after that, this would have been just a hobby at that point.
And it's not just our donations, it's also Wimkin. Wimkin saved our ass.
Wimkin came in.
Wimkin came
very
in
much
and
saved.
said, let's take care of the hosts, and let's go ahead and give the Don't Unfriend Me show a monthly, essentially salary to say and this guy thanks us. Thank you so much for choosing our network. Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
And he says, thank you so much for choosing our network to put your show on. I mean, who does that? Who pays for the show and then thanks them? Jason and Wimkin deserve so much. I have a feeling 2025 is just, I've never said this. Out of all the years, look at this people. Look at these people. Glenn, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm staying on until every donation is in, because I'm not getting off until everyone. But I have never, ever said this is the year. For some reason, it feels that this is the year. Amy, get out of here. I know you got to go.
Jenny
With your
says
family.
Kids are just
hello
waiting
and
for
thank you
me.
as well.
We love you. Get out of here.
But thank you, everyone. I love you guys. I'll see you on Wednesday.
See you Wednesday. Yeah. Liv, what's tomorrow? Thank you, Amy. We love you.
Tomorrow is you.
It might be me.
Might be you and Leroy.
Leroy.
That, I apologize. That last donation was from Big Al. I was supposed to put Big Al in that donation. Oh my gosh. She almost just fell off the desk.
Is it from that person or no?
It's from Big Al. Glenn helps with people who don't understand and
How to do it.
How to do it. So he does the donation for them. And I just didn't see the message that it was from a different person beforehand.
Marky says, everyone keep donating $1 until 2 a.m.
Marky.
Screw you, dude. No, but thank you,
goodness.
Big Al. We appreciate that, and thank you for the Glenn who always kind of fills that gap. We're gonna crush it, y'all. We've got a good. The show is finding its stride. I'm learning how to be a more gracious host. I'm learning not to take things so seriously. I like to get people excited about what we're doing here, and I think we're doing some great things. So. I love you all. Remember Friday to shout out and Trump boys. Yes, we need that. Liv, that's it. We'll be here tomorrow. Leroy is actually in a place I can't tell you where he is at. He may have service. If he doesn't, Olivia says she's going to be on. I might run a solo show. Those seem to go well. But thank you for taking care of us. Are we done now, Liv?
As of right now, yes. That is.
I'm gonna put a 60-second clock on it, and then we're gonna go. And anything we get will go into tomorrow's show. So 60 seconds is on, and Liv, why don't you talk to us about something for 60 seconds?
Something for 60 seconds.
Yeah, why don't you talk about the time we first saw Yenny?
The time we first saw Yenny. So the time we first saw Yenny, it was Christmas of 2021. Our local pet store, the only pet store in our town, we were picking up crickets for Yoshi, and they've got a little room in the back that they have foster kitties that foster parents will bring the kitties in throughout the week and they can get adopted. Well, she's sitting up there on the top cage, like perfect princess with her chest out and her head held high. And she just is looking down on everyone. And like we saw her, and of course the kids are like, oh, but we're like, we don't want another cat right now. Matt comes in. Daddy wants you.
Come here again.
So Matt comes in with us because we had told him, you should see the kids that come home. You should see this cat. So he comes to the pet store the next day with us and he sees her and he's like, okay, we can fill out an application. And we filled out an application. 8 other families had filled out an application for her. And we ended up getting her. And I think it has something to do with the manager of the pet store I'm actually good friends with. I ran the Sweet Frog. We were neighboring stores, so we were always bantering back and forth. And I think she put in a good name to the adoption company. So, but we ended up getting her. And she's now our Yennefer, our little stinker pot, who ran away for 9 days last summer. But she likes the snow. The kids put her out on the deck when it snowed last week, and she didn't want to come back in. She's like, maybe she's a husky at heart.
All right, that's it. Good show. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the donations. You guys are awesome. We'll see you tomorrow. Leroy or myself, where you get the set done. We're still working on the Dumb Club. We're putting all of our effort as soon as this thing gets done. Blankets will be shipping this week. Thank you, everybody. God bless. Thanks for taking care of us. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Night, y'all.
Good night, everybody.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This
Pause it.
is the Don't
Pause it.
Unfriendly Show with your hosts.
You got to pause this. Pause it.
Wait.
Pause it.
Wait.
Go back.
Hold on. Hold on. JD says, will you answer my question tomorrow night? What question? Gosh darn it.
I didn't see the question.
What question? What question? What question? Hold on. I'll take care of JD. What are we stopping for?
We got another donation, and
All right.
this one deserves to be put in.
Hold on.
Because it's Marky.
You're such a dick. How much weight are you putting into the Bongino pipe bomb theory? I haven't heard of it. I'm sorry, JD. Just because we don't see it, I haven't heard. What is his... let me go look it up and find out. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I don't know what his theory is. I've seen the video. All of that. Oh, let me guess. They released the video because that person's going to do a bombing at the inauguration and they're trying to set up the story for it. Is that what it is? JD, let me know. I'm guessing. Give me a holler. Let me know. Thank you, Marky, for the donation.
Yeah, and JD, make sure that Connor is watching the first part on Thursday, please.
Yes. JD, let me know. Let me know. Hurry up. Damn it. I bet it's something like that. Like they're laying the bread trail. Mike Lynch, Tone, she brought it. JD, I'm waiting for you, man. Go ahead. Take your time. I got you. Just let me know what your thoughts are. If that's what Bongino's saying. Go watch it, Matt. Who was on the ground in J6 January 6 pipe bomber with new certainty was a government contractor?
Reaches out to me. This I've been working on for a while. This isn't new.
Mom?
I'm listening.
Folks, let's just get this out of the way about January 6th. It is now confirmed. I mean, you knew this in advance. So this is why I put this first. This is not breaking news. However, I can confirm to you, in case you were even remotely deluded about it, say you're a lefty watching my show, that the FBI 100% had undercovers in the crowd on January 6th. I know you know that.
Yep.
I'm just saying Christopher Wray's been shady about it and others. I'm telling you from a source on the ground with photo evidence to back it up, the FBI and other agencies, not just the FBI, by the way, had multiple undercovers on the ground on January 6th. Period. There's now no disputing it. I've seen the evidence. Number two, the pipe bombs that were placed at the DNC and the RNC that I believe were planted there on purpose by people looking to frame Trump supporters to stop the objection to the certification of the vote. They didn't want people talking about voter fraud problems, so they needed this. After the pipe bombs were found, assets on the ground, including a whistleblower who was not there but was one of the assets on the ground, was briefed about the pipe bombs the next day and shown a picture of a guy in a hoodie. Hey, we're looking for this guy. Planted these pipe bombs. And they were like, wow, that's crazy. Almost killed Kamala Harris, God forbid. This whistleblower tells me that, but 2 days later, after the pipe bombs, he notes, emphasis his, without explanation, they were told to stand down. No need to look for the guy anymore, which is really strange because the FBI is telling us now there's like a $22 trillion reward for finding this guy. 500,000. You get the point. So the FBI is trying to find a guy, but not trying to find a guy 2 days later when the evidence trail was hot. Why do you think that is? Because maybe in that period, they found out who the guy was and they were like, oh, shit, we can't have them knowing that.
Right. That makes sense. 120%.
Point four.
I said that on
this whistleblower.
When we broke down the video, I said that. Is they either know who the guy is and they don't want to say because of who that person is, or
believes very strongly, emphasis his, that the pipe bomber may be a government contractor. What? What the hell? This whistleblower's record with me is 100%. We're not destroying this thing. I have no reason to doubt, given his expertise, that he's giving me an accurate assessment of the situation. But he believes with near certainty that the pipe bomber may be a government contractor.
I'm gonna chew on it. I've got some other thoughts, but yeah, I trust Dan. Dan's not 100% always right. Neither am I, but Dan's usually spot freaking on. Let's talk about it tomorrow. I'm gonna tag the video. We're gonna save it.
You ready for number 2?
You guys bring your thoughts. I'll bring my thoughts, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Good night, everybody. Thank you for the donations. God bless.
Yes,
Mom,
thank you very
Are we
much.
free and clear?
We are free and clear.
All right, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much, guys. Really, really appreciate it.
Very much. Thank you for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow. And if we missed anybody, also, again, thank you for anybody, Janet Crenshaw, for who donated last night. We missed her Friday, and we made amends for that. We've called it tonight because we didn't know then. Good night, everybody.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.